Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of our Slackware edition where we were configuring DNS server. And so let's start, and our Slackzilla is ready. And so what we need to do is, one more thing I would like to mention. In last video I mentioned it's Berkeley's internet name daemon, whereas it is Berkeley's internet name domain. So just a correction. And so this basically, what is DNS? DNS is domain name system, and it helps to convert IP addresses into names and names to IP addresses, because humans are very bad with numbers, because the longer the number is and the more we used to forget them. So what happens, the names, we are good at names, but computers are good at numbers. So that's why computer remember numbers, and they translate those numbers into names for human readable, and vice versa. So basically, domain name system is the server or the system which helps interpret both for humans and for computers. So please remember a few things. DNS works on port UDP 53 and TCP 53. UDP 53 is used for queries, and port TCP is used for zone transfers. DNS is, there are basically 13 root domains. It starts from the root and then it goes to TLDs, top level domains. Then there are then subdomains. So it's kind of a hierarchy. It's kind of an upside down tree. So it starts from the root. You can just Google the pictures of DNS and their root servers, and you'll get an idea. Anyway, there are around 13 root servers all around the world, and they're just distributed. And so that's the backbone of our internet also. So let's start. And to start bind, we have already installed bind package, if you remember, in our last video. And the main files of bind are in etc name.conf and in var/named. Let me show you. So if we go to etc, we have this name.conf file, and this is the file we will be configuring. It's a very simple file. Okay, and in var named caching example, this is the main directory where we will be configuring our zones. So how to do this? It's you need to remember the host name. It's Slackzilla and the fully qualified name, which has host name and the domain name with -f. It's slackzilla.local domain. Okay, so let's go back to our etc, and as always, copy name.conf to name.conf.org. original, use vim to name.conf. Okay, and we are going to configure a very basic DNS. So this thing means query source address on for like port 53. It's like if there's a firewall between you and name server, you want to talk to you might need to uncomment the query source. So anyway, we don't need this. We are not in DMZ. Okay, and it's a cache only name server config. We can just go down. So it's pretty straightforward. Okay, what I'm going to change is, I'm just going to change this. I'm going to change it to suit my IP address, which is 192.168.1.100. So it's 1.1 168.192 in-addr.arpa. Okay, what these files are, these zones, basically these are this is the forward zone, and you can give this localhost like name to as per your liking. You can change this name, but it should be the same in var/named. I'll show you the file. Anyway, this is the forward zone and this is the reverse zone, and this reverse zone has this, you can see this file. Well, this name can be anything, but this files should have the same name. So this is, you can see that the forward zone has this localhost.zone and the reverse zone has this file name name.local. So let's go, just save the changes, var named in caching, and if you remember that our forward zone was a name.local, so we will just go to name.local. Sorry, reverse zone was name.local, so we will use forward zone first, localhost.zone. Okay, and over here we can see TTL time to live, SOA stands for start of authority, origin is localhost, like what is the name of our domain, basically our name server, and it's going to be local domain instead of localhost. And let me change it to local domain. Basically how it starts, it's like local domain. Let me show you. Slackzilla dot local domain dot. It has to end with dot because it's the root server. We need to mention, like it starts from dot, then local domain is the TLD, and then dot, and this Slackzilla is the subdomain. It's kind of that. Then you will give a tab and like support or root dot local domain dot. So this is the email address where you will receive an information. It can be root or support. Anyway, so this is how we set the first line. Then over here we remove this, and remove this. So NS stands for name server, in is internet name server, this in address. So our name server is pretty simple. It's slackzilla dot local domain dot, and the address is 192.168.1.100. Let me check in. Yeah, it's Slackzilla. Okay, let me go back. Okay, and then we have so everybody can just know that Slackzilla is also the same as slackzilla.local domain. So this is how we set up forward zone. If we have, in future we will see email server, and we will add MX records and other, if we install web servers, we can install web servers to this DNS. So that's why it's good practice to start DNS earlier. Okay, now we need to check the reverse zone, and reverse zone is named.local. vim name.local, and all I need to do is it's going to be the same. Press enter. Slackzilla dot local domain dot and root local domain dot Slackzilla dot local domain dot Slackzilla dot. Okay, and here we need to mention last our address of our net IP address. So it was 192.168.1.100. So 100 we will add here. It's a PTR, it's a pointer record, it's pointing to our IP address. So, and this is the reverse zone, like from IP to resolution from IP to name. Okay, that's pretty much it. So let's check if our DNS is working. Okay, two things to remember how we can first we need to go to etc hosts file and make sure that okay, it's automatically added, so you can see that it's local domain, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, next thing is etc/nsswitch.conf. This file is very important also, and it shows that what things to check first. So it will check always hosts file, then network files, and then services. It's the nsswitch file. Basically it tells us which files it reads what thing first. Okay, now let's start bind, and to start bind we will use /etc rc.d rc.bind, and at the if we start it like this, it will give us permission denied, and that I just wanted to show you guys. So just chmod executable and try to start this time. Okay, so bind has started, and ss-antlup grep 53 will reveal that it's listening. Okay, so let's try to change our resolve.conf with our new DNS server. Okay, first we need let's not change this first. Let's check if ping is working with Google. Okay, working. Okay, what will happen if I remove this resolve.conf? Entry. Okay, I have removed this. Sorry. It should not be able to ping now. Well, strange, but let me. It should not actually. Let's make it. Okay, let's try to ping. That's awesome, it's still pinging. Let me just Just a minute. So I'm back. There were some issues with the file, so now we cannot ping google.com, but we can ping the IP address, so it means that we still have internet connectivity, but there is issue with DNS. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change this resolve.conf with our newly created DNS server. Now try to ping, and it starts working. It started working. It means that our DNS is working fine. Let's ping hotmail.com. It's working. And let's ping cnn.com. Okay, so our DNS is working, and how we can check it? Check this. You can use dig Slackzilla local domain. Okay. I think there's something wrong. Let me check. Okay guys, so I have fixed the error, and let me show you the error. It was vim localhost.zone. Here we need to add only local domain, not the fully qualified domain name, like with host name and the domain name, only domain, and that's it. Over here everything was good. The only issue was this local domain thing. Okay, then let me show you back this name.local, and over here you can see that we have this local domain only. Okay, so everything looks good, and now if we clear and dig slackzilla.local domain, and here we have no errors, and answer is 1. Everything is good. Vim and resolve.conf, we already have this. Let's ping google.com and it's working. And let's ns lookup Slackzilla, and here we have it. It's working perfectly fine. And dig at let's say slackzilla dot, and it's working fine. So that's how we set up DNS. Please do take a look at wiki for DNS for more information. This is a very basic intro how you can set up a DNS server in Slackware.